Hello, hello, welcome in. I'm so glad we got your cake all decorated and designed. So today's topic is going to be your dress. This is your moment, your time to shine, and we just want the dress to be perfectly representative of you and your style and your personality. So I'll get started by just showing you a basic overview of the different styles you can choose from. Everything from shape to sleeves to train, and then we can just look at some inspo pics together just to get a sense of what we're gonna plan for your dress. Okay, amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna start with, like I mentioned, the types of styles. The first shape I have to show you is the A-line, and as you can see, it's just a very natural progression from the top of the dress to the floor, and then beside it you'll see ball gown. And the difference here is, as you can tell, it's cinched at the very top of the dress, but it starts getting fuller sooner than the A-line would, and it's gonna have more volume than the A-line would. And then going next to that, we have sheath, which is gonna have no volume. You'll be cinched at the top and then just straight down like so. Then we have a mermaid, which is gonna be cinched. It's gonna come out at the waist here, but not super full. And then at the bottom, you have another flare out by the feet, and to give it that mermaid tail-like look. And finally, we have trumpet, which is going to be like a mermaid, but the volume's gonna start earlier. So instead of by the feet, it'll be right after the hips. So you have cinch, it comes out, and just like that. So it's a very basic overview. Again, to review, you could do A-line, ball gown, sheath, mermaid, or trumpet as far as shape. So this is going to break the dress down even more. So at the top here we have waistlines, and then sleeve style and length at the bottom. So for waistlines, this is what we call a basque waist because it has this V shape, very princess core waistline. Then we have a dropped waist, which the normal waist is typically at the belly button, but this dropped waist will be below the belly button, giving it kind of a very unique style flair. Then we have Empire, which is going to be right below the bust, higher than the belly button would be. Then we have the natural waist, which is again going to fall near the belly button, near the hips. And then we have Princess, which is going to be the upper belly button, and then it immediately poofs out into the dress. So just to review, we have Basque, dropped, Empire, natural, and Princess. Then going to sleeve style, we obviously can do strapless. Again, the dress will be fitted, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about pulling up the bust area. You could also do spaghetti straps, off the shoulder straps. This is another sleeveless option, but the bust is going to go up more, whereas this bust is just framing the bust. This will kind of go up toward your shoulders more. And then we have cap sleeves. So it'll be kind of like a tank top, but much thicker sleeves that kind of flow into the rest of the top. And then you could obviously do long sleeves, whether that's lace or fabric, whatever you're thinking. So finally, we're going to get down to length. So as far as the length of the dress itself, here would be mini, and some choose to do this for the ceremony and the reception or just the reception. Then we have asymmetrical, which would show your legs a bit. Then we have T-length, which would go right above the feet, so your shoes would show. Then we have floor length, which is probably the most typical. It would cover your shoes. And then we have a sweep train, which again is probably the most typical. Most brides like to have at least a little bit of train going. And then as far as the train itself, the most modest train would be a court train, so not much, just a little bit of extra fabric. Then we have the chapel train right here, so that very classic trailing behind you. Then we have cathedral train, which is definitely gonna make a statement. You'll probably need people to help you out with the train. And then detachable, this would be detachable because it would just be so long to walk in. So those are some length options and train options. And finally, just for a few more ideas, here are just some common fun designs. So this is going to be a V-neck, which would show off some of the cleavage, some of the chest area. Then we have a sheer overlay, so you kind of have a difference in fabrics between the main dress and then the sheer. Then we have the mermaid silhouette that I talked about earlier. You could do a lace, what's called a lace tattoo. So the back would be very lacy, showing skin, but also have a design. And then this is called the peplum because, as you can see, there's a bit of separation. There's a bit of separation where the top of the bodice flares out, and then you have the skinny sheath-like skirt. You could do a corset bodice to give that very princessy cinched look. Then you could do statement sleeves. So this bride has lace going across the chest and the sleeves. This is called a transformer skirt. So as you can see, the dress likely comes off. This whole skirt could come off for the reception and you'd just be left with the midi dress. And then something about this one too is you get definitely a peek of the legs. You could do kind of a layering or shorter in the front, longer in the back type design. This is called the portrait back, where it gives you just this little window into the back, and then it has sleeves either made of lace or the normal fabric. This is a very 1920s style where you see you have the below the waist or the dropped waist, and then you've got the very v-necked top. This floaty fabric is going to be a lot of sheer, a lot of tulle layers. You could do a tiered skirt where the different tiers of fabric or types of fabric are very exemplified. And then this dress actually has a hint of gold, or we could do a hint of silver, sparkly, lacy, whatever you are thinking. So that's going to be it for the different design options. Do you know what you're kind of thinking of doing? Okay, so let me get some of those notes down. And for the sleeves, okay, so I'll just show you some general inspiration just to kind of get your brain flowing with ideas. So this is an example of a bride that kind of had a separate look for her reception. So as you can see, you have that mini dress out of a nice lacy material, and she's got some nice thick straps, and then she's wearing this beautiful long veil, and then the skirt in the back also has an attachment that goes beyond where the dress cuts off. This bride has that very sheath simple look, almost like a satin look with spaghetti straps, and then her bridesmaids have similar dresses but in yellow, which really gives a bright, springy, summery wedding look. Here I have a beautiful, beautiful veil with little pearls that just cascades down the dress in varying levels of opacity. And you could do diamonds if you didn't want to do pearls, lots of different options there. Here I have these beautiful lace shoes studded with pearls, and these are white chunky heels. Here I have a beautiful bride that had her ceremony going through a field of white flowers, and she had this beautiful sheer veil that went over her entire look and trailed like a train in the back. And she had a lacy dress underneath, so she definitely went for a sheer lacy look. Here's another beautiful pair of heels. You went for a more tulle sheer look again. Here is an example of the portrait back, as you can see, and then she has the lace sleeves and then a gorgeous train in that more ballroom or A-line style dress. Here we have a gorgeous backless option with straps and lace and a beautiful train going down the back. Here she has these really pretty lace sheer sleeves that go all the way down to the floor along with her dress. Here's a sleeve option with lace, as you can see, and then she has her cinched waist, this whole bodice made of lace, and then it just cascades into a gorgeous full skirt. If you didn't want to go the classic white, this is an example of a blush white, very, very subtle pink hues to it. And you have this strapless sweetheart neckline with sparkly beaded flowers, and then again cascading into a sheer skirt. So not a lot of poof, not a lot of sheer, just gorgeous satin. This is lace sweetheart neckline top. And then this is an example of the cap sleeves I mentioned. So not the straps or the sleeveless, but still no like sleeves on the arms, and it has lace, a nice bodice, and this A-line style dress. So a lot of beautiful, beautiful options to choose from. So why don't you look through the catalog a little bit and let me know what you're thinking, okay? Thanks so much for coming in.